Kindergarten is the base of every student's life where they learn the basics of life and start life's journey from there. Today is a day of rejoicing, for it marks the first step that every child must undertake to open up to another important stage of their lives. It's an honor to be part of this special event, which is the high point of the academic year, because today we celebrate the accomplishments and achievements of our dear kindergarten learners. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third virtual kindergarten moving up ceremony of Bungalon Elementary School, the school year 2021-2022, with the theme of K-12 graduates pursuing dreams and fostering resilience in the face of adversity. To start with, may we request everyone to please rise for the singing of the national anthem, to be followed by doxology, Pangasinan hymn, Region 1 hymn, and SD1 Pangasinan hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
And the rivers, to the plains and winding trails, to the shores where breezes linger. That's the place I love so well. It's the home of men who loved her, men who died to keep us free, men who told all bad the weather, that anyone will never be. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest home by far to me. From here I learn my lessons. In her veils I work and play. She has kept me safe and happy as I live on day by day. From to other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1, oh Region 1, there's no better place I see. Region 1, oh Region 1, dearest of my heart's beat. Other lands I wander as I search for wealth and fame. In my heart I will remember Region 1, beloved name. Region 1! Pangasinan niya binabi
are the inspirational messages coming from our DepEd Secretary, Schools Division Superintendent Officer in Charge, Dr. Ellie S. Ubaldo, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maria Cruzelda G. Ocang, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Diosdado I. Cayabyab, Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Maria Silvia M. Garcia, and to our school head, Ma'am Cecil B. Macarana.
Isang pagpupugay at maalab na pagbati sa ating mga principals, head teachers, teachers in charge, mga guro, non-teaching personnel, mga magulang, graduates, completers, at awardees. Mga mahal kong graduates, completers, at awardees, ang inyong nakamit na tagumpay ay may tuturing na milestone. Isang tagumpay na nalampasan ang ibayong pagsubok. Sa gitna ng mga pagsubok na dala ng COVID-19, nalampasan ninyo ang mga ito sa pamamagitan ng determinasyon at commitment. Ako'y humahanga at nagagalak sa ipinakita ninyong katapangan na nagpapakita ng inyong exemplary academic performance. Maging alaala sana ang graduation at moving up ceremonies na ito na kaya ninyong lampasan ang anumang pagsubok, makamit lamang ang inyong mga pangarap. Ang inyong mga pangarap ay may hahalin tulad sa isang bituin. Hindi mo man kayang hawakan, ngunit kung patuloy mong susundan ang kanyang liwanag, ay dadalhin ka niya sa iyong destinasyon. Ang destinasyon na pagkamit ng iyong pangarap. Maging mas masigasig pa sana kayo. Mas maging matiisin at higit sa lahat, pagtibayin ang paniniwala sa Diyos. Gawin lagi ang tama at dapat. Galingan. Become the best that you can be. Huwag kalimutang magpasalamat sa inyong mga magulang at mga guro. Sa ating mga mahal na magulang, salamat sa inyong mga sakripisyo. Ginampanan ninyo ang napakahalagang papel bilang aming mga partners sa pag-aaral ng inyong mga anak, lalo na sa implementasyon ng distance learning. Patuloy na aasa ang DepEd sa inyong suporta at tulong. Sa mga school heads at mga guro, huwag tayong magsawang gampanan ang ating sinumpaang tungkulin. Ayon nga sa ating mahal na kalihim, whatever is happening in the country, whatever challenges we are facing, education must continue. Education cannot wait. Our learners cannot wait. Ang aming ding pasasalamat sa PTA, provincial government, sa mga local government units, at sa lahat ng mga stakeholders na hindi kami iniwan at ibinigay ang buong suporta para may pagpatuloy ang pag-aaral ng ating mga anak sa gitna ng pandemya. Congratulations! Magandang buhay sa ating lahat!
Here are the completers of Kindergarten na Araw Batch 2021-2022. Arenas Zach Hercules G., son of Mr. and Mrs. Isabelo C. Arenas. Banag Roland R., son of Mr. and Mrs. Roland A. Banag. Bulasok James Joshen B., son of Mr. and Mrs. Joseph O. Bulasok. Cruz James Kurt P., son of Mr. and Mrs. Angelo James S. Cruz. Dulay Rexel B., son of Mr. and Mrs. Rolly C. Dulay. Garcia Andriel Mateo C., son of Mr. and Mrs. Teofelo M. Garcia. Ginto Adrian Kyle M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Christopher R. Ginto. Recosana Hendrix Ali J., son of Mr. and Mrs. Abraham A. Recosana. Reyes Gian Kyrie M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert T. Reyes. Salazar Carl James, son of Miss Jennifer G. Salazar. Bantillo Astrid Gale E., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ronald P. Bantillo. Cabada Crislin Zavina E., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bandol G. Cabada. Flores Noralyn Joy R., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Noel D. Flores. Garcia Francesca T., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Norman B. Garcia. Manawis Shakira May E., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romel G. Manawis. Manawis Shamera Joy E., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Romel G. Manawis. Manzano Maui N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Roderick M. Manzano Sr. Mercado Jams Raquel C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gerald E. Mercado. Mercado Joma S., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan S. Mercado. Umbak Iana Braille Q., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Noel S. Umbak. Paris Akisha Lucy C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Angelo N. Paris. Reyes Giselle V., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Gary Boy A. Reyes. And now, let's proceed to the completers of Kindergarten Maiter, Batch 2021-2022. Jovellanos Mark Matthew V., son of Mr. and Mrs. Mark C. Jovellanos. Nyalia Angelo N., son of Mr. and Mrs. Armando U. Nyalia Sr. Versosa Robert Brian M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Brian A. Versosa. Moreno Zayateo M., son of Mr. and Mrs. Marlon F. Moreno. Babalo Rose Ann N., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Glenn M. Babalo. Eli Cristali P., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Zalden G. Eli. Inko Rianica Rose M., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Raymond P. Inko. Lozada Rich Julene B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Richard O. Lozada. Orsilia Nicole Ann A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Raymond A. Orsilia. Fabia Raizian B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Ramir L. Fabia. Prado Naishela I., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Danilo C. Prado. Reyes Angela C., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Pedro C. Reyes. Reyes Ashley B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Bernabe B. Reyes Jr. Reyes Shen B., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Edgardo Reyes. Reyes Yumi A., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eduardo Reyes. Season Ruby Ann G., daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Fermangelo M. Season. Congratulations to all the completers of Batch 2022 of Bungalon Elementary School.